Thank you very much indeed for rejoining us here for the third part of the Value Raters Class Act on Tip TV Sport. Now, I'm delighted to announce that we are joined live on the phone by Betfair's Barry Orr. Good evening, Barry.
Good evening, Tom.
Also, obviously, joining us, Barry, this evening is Value Rater on the round table here, and we've been talking about all of the weekend eye catchers. But importantly, in the last part, we just talked about the Ascot Gold Cup. Have you been taking much money for this race, or does it all happen on the day?
No, it has been quite a lively anti-post market, Matt. But Tom. But with the doubt persisting about forgotten rules and Dermot Weld stating that a firm description was in the ground that he may not run, it has cast a bit of a long shadow on the market. Mizzou has been very popular. He's a 9-2 chance now in the day of race market. And since we went live with the day of race market, Simeon for William Mullins has been well supported. He's 14-1 into 10-1.
I do like the idea of Simeon myself, actually, Barry, and Betfair have given us that free £100 charity bet. He's my pick for that. Just to touch on the ground, obviously, forgotten rules, there remains doubts, although Dermot Well's pretty sure they're going to be, well, hopefully for him, watering it on Wednesday evening. Clever Cookie's already been withdrawn, and Richard Hannon had his part to say that Night of Thunder didn't like the firmness underfoot today in the Queen Anne. How many others are you expecting to drop out before the big race if there is firm in the going description?
I think there has to be a doubt about forgotten rules. Having said that, though, he seemed to cope with good ground relatively well in Navan when he won the Vintage Crop Stakes. He would prefer a little bit of giving the ground, but they say that these good horses always go on at once. They remember it the second time and they don't tend to let themselves down, but they always get away with it once. Whether he allows the horse to take his chance is another thing, because he always maintains that Rites of Passage got jarred in the race when he won in 2010 under Pat Smullen. And he was never the same horse after that. So I don't know whether that is a lasting memory in Dermot's head and that he may not let forgotten rules take his chance. I don't see it being a massive issue for the horse. He's a class act. If he lines up in the race, he's going to take a hell of a lot of beating. He would look very impressive in the Vintage Crop when he beat the Jim Bulger trained Answered. And he was pretty impressive on heavy ground back in Ascot during the Quipco Long Distance Cup, the Group 2 in October in Ascot when he beat Biographer. But as you say, that was on heavy ground. But I don't think the ground's going to be a massive issue for the horse. Once they throw a sip of water on it tonight and they take any jar out of the ground, I think Forgotten Rules will line up.
Yeah, Barry, Matt Mitter here. Forgotten Rules. I think we've got a difference of opinion here. I just can't see it myself, Forgotten Rules. I'm very concerned about the ground, but more so, just really the form. I mean, I know people will look at the form and say, well, his last race was franked there by Kingfishers, but the third horse, Sir Ector, I mean, he was thrashed then by Kingfisher, and wasn't it the same kind of horses in behind just coming out and franking the form? I think he's desperately short.
Well, he's a class act. It's only going to be his 5th race of his career. But there's no end of improvement in the horse. Sir Ector, you're right, he's only rated 100. He did what you'd expect to do with Sir Ector at the rates. If you take Biographer as a yardstick, he's beaten Biographer over 10 lengths in Navan, and he only beat Biographer a length and 3/4 at Ascot on heavy ground. So he has improved taking Biographer as a yardstick, albeit on completely different ground. But like I say, it was only his 5th run match. This will only be his 5th run. Like, he started off in bumpers, this horse. He won a bumper in Punchestown, went on and won a race in Galway, a conditions race in Galway. And then his next race is a Group 2. His 3rd race is a Group 2 in Ascot in Champions Weekend, and he absolutely danced in. And in Navan, they all said he may just need the run. Answered was a warm order that day to turn him over, but he beat Answered fair and square, a length and 1/4, and like Kingfisher has franked the form. Sir Ector let it down somewhat, but he's only a 100 rated horse. I think there's no end of improvement in Forgotten Rules, and especially the man who has him, who knows a thing or two about training these stayers.
Yeah, certainly Dermot Weld is a bit of a master trainer. We did mention Rite of Passage, who took the Gold Cup. In terms of Forgotten Rules, can you just reiterate exactly what the price is at the moment trading on Betfair, Barry?
Yeah, on the Betfair Sportsbook, he was 11-4. He's into 5-2 now at the moment. He's clear favourite at 5-2. Mizzou is a 9-2 chance. 7-1 Vent of Force. Kingfisher and Batharon are in there at 10 each of 2, and Simeon can be bracketed at 10 now as well from 14.
Simonon's been squeezed into 10s. As I said, that is my Betfair charity bet for the Injured Jockeys Fund. Value Raters Betfair charity bet was with Batharon. Latest odds on that one, Barry?
Batharon currently a 10-1 chance.
Currently a
10-1.
Currently a 10-1 chance for the French. A few more euros will have to be placed on that one. Then, Barry, before you go, how's Ascot been so far? Obviously, the opening day, a few favourites have pinged in. I take it your books are about level, are they?
No, I think we had a good day today, really, at the finish. When you look at Berrettino and the Coventry is a great result. Gold Ream was also a great result. Obviously, Glen Eagles takes a bit of shine off it, and Solo takes a bit of shine off it. Clondalk Warrior was a bad result as well, but I think we're just ahead going into day 2. The worst case scenario didn't transpire, being the 4 short ones today. Paris Horse, Solo. If the Jim Bulger horse had won the Coventry round 2, and Glen Eagles, if those 4 had won, it would have been a worst case scenario without a shadow of a doubt. But I think we dodged a bit of a bullet today with Soul Power getting beaten, and round 2 was very disappointing. But Clondalk Warrior is a great result for the punters. Syndicate who owns it, I know a couple of the lads in it, and that benefited from a class ride from Ryan Moore, you'd have to say. He's 3 ahead in the jockey's title now. Top jockey at the meeting, and you'd have to say, Matt and Tom, I think it's fair to say it looks all over that competition, even going in with 4 days to go.
Yeah, it does, to be fair, and Ryan Moore's obviously got a full bag of rides tomorrow. I could not let you go, Barry, without you telling us what your selection is in the Ascot Gold Cup.
My selection in the Gold Cup is Forgotten Rules, regardless of the going. If Dermot determines that he's letting him take his chance, that's good enough for me. I'll be on Forgotten Rules.
If we find you out on the Berkshire track with pails of water giving it a good dashing on Wednesday night, I wouldn't be surprised, Barry. But thanks for joining us. All the best throughout the week, or of course from the punter's point of view, I hope you get smashed up.
Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, and I'll place those charity bets, and best of luck with them, lads.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
have a nice
Barry.
evening and have a good week, Barry. Well, there we go. Joined by Barry Orr. Obviously brilliant. He is going to be sticking with Forgotten Rules in the Gold Cup there. Personally, both of us here on the panel, we believe that Forgotten Rules needs a bit more water in the ground. Mr. Value Rater, you stick with Batharon?
Absolutely, Batharon, yeah. I think, I'd be very surprised. And here they are again, the Ascot Gold Cup charity bets. Mine, Batharon, and yours, Cimarron. Any winnings will go directly to the Injured Jockeys Fund. But it's funny, isn't it? Different opinions in racing, but
yeah, different opinions. Obviously, we look to have picked out some value there. Both of them 10 or 14 to 1, good prices. Whereas Barry Orr shrewdly goes for the 5-2 jolly at the moment. Forgotten Rules. Well, we'll see how that pans out, and we'll see how all of the form puts itself together when we re-evaluate the Gold Cup in Tuesday's show next week at 7:30. Would you like to be part of the show? Have you got any questions, any racing topics that you would like us to discuss next week? Obviously, next week we'll be looking at the fallout of the Ascot Royal Ascot Festival. If you find anything eye-catching, anything that you want the form to be explained on this show, you can't realise how a horse hasn't got past or why it's bolted up by 2 furlongs or whatever it may be, just give us an email or give us a tweet at Value Rater, and we're happy to discuss what proves to be a brilliant 4 days left of the Royal Ascot meet. Anyway, from all of us here on the show, thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Tom.
And thank you there at home for joining us. That's been the Ascot Gold Cup preview. Good luck with all your bets at Royal Ascot this week. We'll see you at 7:30 this time next week.